Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. I'm your humble host, Mr. Dave, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe. And to Mossy Man, hi, how are you? I'm doing fair to middling. I hope everyone who will be in live chat and listen later, and blessings bountiful to all. Yes, down to fullness. Yep. This is a subject that has been kind of kicking around in my head for a while. And for those of you who know me, I let things kick around in my head for a while, and sometimes it leaves dents. you know, one could say that it might be an addendum to the. Anyway, um, from a spiritual, shamanic, religious. I hate the word. I hate to use that word. But for those folks who are tangled up in religion, we have to be very practical in how we use the frame love can conquer all, or love will conquer all, or, love will, makes the world go round, and all these things about what love is. Um, and I do believe in love, the pure art of, I say art, the pure art of love, the art in that, you can love someone whether they agree to love you or not. I mean, we could go right to the cross and say that, Jesus loved all mankind and womankind too. Um, because as they were nailing him to the cross, he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." And so in that, there's love. But did his love for them stop the action of the crucifixion? We can stand up and the German soldiers during World War II and said, we love you, and the Jews got shot anyway. There have been people who wish no harm on any other human being, but they were still tortured. And even though they had love in their hearts for the Creator, for maybe their fellow man or whatever, did love conquer their particular situation? And anybody who's on the outside looking in, they're going to say, "Oh, hell no. Hey, Delaney. Hey, Teresa." And so this isn't, this isn't about being a downer about love, or no, it ain't going to work because there are people out there. We are going to discuss that. But we have to look at things in a practical manner. You can love a bear, but if he's mauling you and killing you, that love for that bear ain't going to help you in the situation. The love in your heart and in your spirit will help you if you die from those wounds from the bear, or you get eaten and become bear poo. Um, and I look at the world, and there's a lot of love in this world. People spreading it around and doing stuff, but we have to understand that not everyone or every being or everything or whatever is going to accept our love. So we can send love out there, but is anybody going to feel it? Does anybody give a crap? Right? I mean, seriously, does anybody care? About time. I think that was a Chicago song. But anyway, um, does anybody really know what time it is? Anyway, but the idea, though, of having love in our hearts as a spiritual person, regardless of the outcome of your situation. Now you say, well, I'm getting mobbed, or there are people in the streets that are beating me. I've got, the BLM beat the crap out of me, the Bureau of Land Management. And, or, I really love animals, but this alligator got a hold of my foot. I mean, we have to, where do we put this idea of love conquers all? Or can it? Can love? I don't know. I've had some pretty good drinks that I fell in love with. Done lel in fove, but the idea though that we have to look at love from a perspective. An alligator mama will protect its young, and sometimes even, put them in their mouth kind of thing, and they'll hang around with the little ones till they get big enough and protect them. But when them alligators get a little bigger, she'll chomp on them. Okay. So up to a point, she loves them little gators. And then something kicks in and it's like, all right, now y'all go on, grow up. So the love for a mother for her children, and a father, for their children, you know, I've seen parents that just don't give two squats about their kids, and kids that don't give two squats about their parents, or grandparents, or relatives, or brothers or sisters. They just go off on this tangent, and it's everything for themselves. Now they love the people, or so they say. Yeah, there's some cryptic words in here, but they say they love those people that they are in contact with. They love their child, their wife, their who they choose to love. But everybody else, forget about it. Forget about it. So we have to look at love from a perspective point of view. You know, well, love will conquer all. If it in your world it may, but it might not fit in everybody or anybody else's world, or their language, or how they feel. We say, I really love you. And you can mean it. But that other person might go, okay, thanks, love you too. And they don't really mean it. It's just a passing word. So, but does it conquer anything? Well, if you're trying to make up with a sibling or a relative, and listen, and you go, listen, I really love you. Why are you like, yeah, well, I love you too, but leave me alone. You stay in there, and I'm gonna stay. Yeah, I love you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When in your heart you really have the compassion is there, the caring, you shed tears for whoever that person may be. And it is true love because you really feel deeply down in here. It's not a head thing, right? It's in your soul. It's in your being. It's heartfelt. But is the person or persons that you are, now you have to understand that you are projecting this love on them. Okay. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but that is what you're doing. You're projecting your love onto them. In that, I love you, man, or girl, or whoever. I love you. I really do. But now, from the other side, they might look and go, yeah, okay. You know, it doesn't mean the same. Not always now, but I mean, you have to understand how you feel is just part of this equation. How the others feel, you are projecting your love upon them, and we do, because as soon as we say, well, I love you, we love you, that is a projection of how we feel. Now there's nothing wrong with that, but understand, is a projection of us, of our energy, of our essence outwards to other people to learn to pick up. Now you can put out the love all you want to, but does anybody out there give a shit about your projection not your protection, but your projection of the love to the universe. And you say, well, I really tried with Uncle Harry, but he's just, he just is such a knothead, And I've gone over there, and I'm just Uncle Harry is just, I hate to say it, I love him to death, but he's a sumbitch. You love him to death, but he's a sumbitch, right? Or he's cantankerous, or whatever it is. Uncle Harry, you know. So you still love them. You project that love onto them, even though, you think he's a knothead. But now, what does Uncle Harry think about it? He says, get out of here. You bother me, kids. Leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered. Well, from his outward signs, he could hate, it would seem that Uncle Harry hates your guts. But we have to consider that maybe deep down inside, Uncle Harry doesn't know how to express his love, or that he has any, or that he's embarrassed by it. Or so we don't really know if Uncle Harry's accepting or rejecting this love or not, right? Hi there, you're live with David here on YouTube.
Okay, well, I will talk to you later then.
All right. Love you, brother. So that sets the tone right there. So we have to understand that we cannot make someone else love us. Now, we should already know that by now. So does that mean that because they won't love us back in whatever way we think is appropriate? Again, that's a matter of perspective, okay? So you say, well, I love them deeply. I mean, I cry and I don't get the same back from them. Maybe they're not really capable. Or maybe you don't fit in that prime candidate of I love you thing, right? Because there are some people like I love my mama, I love my daddy, I love my that. But, anybody else, yeah, it's a friendly love, It's a coincidental love, an acquaintance kind of love. Not a spouse or a child or, and anyway. So, in my belief, can love conquer all? For me, it can. Because regardless of how the love I emit, evoke, project, however you want to put it, regardless of how it is picked up, received, or whatever. I mean, if somebody's got a knife to my throat and I go, I love you, man, and then they kill me, I have kept love in my heart and compassion for another human being. Now, does it save me in a particular situation that I'm in? And you go, well, I love the guy, but he killed me anyway. You're having a rap with St. Peter and some of the angel buddies when you get on the other side, and you go, I love the guy, I told him I loved him, and he stabbed me 3 times, So we can't make the situation happen. Now, there are times I've been with folks and I've talked about some of these things. I may or may not slide into one of those topics during this discussion. But one of the things we have to understand from a practical standpoint, it is our decision to love. Now, there isn't anything in that to love the world, to love peace, to love your fellow neighbor. There isn't anything in there that says, but wait a minute, I'm going to love them if they give it back to me, if they participate in this, if they take my love and acknowledge it, we can't go there. Because in that, most people say, and I've said this, you said it, we've all said this, but I love them so much and they just don't show anything in return. They don't show a bit whether or not they even care at all, whether I live or die. And there's some situations kind of sort of right now in my life that it's like, but I still love them, but do they care about me? That's not the point. And it used to be the point for me for a long time. And I was like, but I love them, but they're not loving me back. So what good is this sending love out to people when they don't reciprocate in any way? And if anything, I say, well, I love you, brother. And they go, yeah, but I hate your fucking guts. And you go, well, wait a minute. Now, where did that come from? I just said I loved you. And then you just told me basically to F off. So we cannot get upset about this. It's a hard, difficult thing to learn. We give the love freely, and we have to draw the line with ourselves and say, it doesn't matter whether or not they reciprocate. It doesn't matter where they understand how I feel. It doesn't matter. It's how I feel about the situation. It's my spirit, it's my soul that I wish to stay clean. And by that I mean I don't want to go around saying I hate your guts. That's, there's darkness in there. But if I say I love you, even if you're, pointing a gun at me and fixing to blow my brains out, I will go to my grave loving you kind of thing. It's that it's what it matters to us, not what it matters to the other people. Now, I'm always saying peace be unto you, greetings, blessings, and I mean that. I really do. Whether or not I ever get any blessings back, or whether or not anybody actually receives the prayer that I send out, I have to do it from a standpoint of it. It matters only to me that I send it out. I'm hoping that it will be received. I'm hoping that people will receive this. I'm hoping that somehow it will affect someone. But if I expect a return on the love that I put out there, forget about it, because you have to step out of the realm of, well, I gave my love to this person and I got crapped on. Okay. And I've been crapped on a bunch of times. Ex-wives and folks, took me for money and took me for this and took my love and shoved it in the hole. And I, at the time, I really loved them. I really cared for them. Some of these folks I still do, even though they're crazier than, bat droppings, but guano. But the idea, though, that if I said, I love you, and I expected a return, and my expectation, well, I gave out all this love. I don't feel like I'm getting the love back that I'm putting out there. A lot of people who go through this have gone through it, but the shaman in training at some point will go, oh, wait a minute. It must be given freely without any attachments or without any expectations of what your love, your compassion will come back on you. Now, I can tell you, and many of you know this, but that if you give it out, it may not come back from the person that you were sending all this juice to, but it somehow comes back around and sends you blessings. But, if we expect to receive blessings, we're expecting Creator to help us out in a situation. We're expecting the universe to, hit the like button for us on the YouTube of life, in the universe. Well, they watched the video, but they didn't hit the like button. Well, but I put out all this good energy and I tell everybody I love them but I just don't feel it, you can't. It's not that you wall yourself off from it. That is not it. It's that whether or not you receive it back isn't important. It's the fact that you have your stuff together, spiritually, mentally, to be able to say, you know what? Regardless of how my brothers and sisters in this universe feel, I'm still going to send out love without any expectations of on a return on my investment. I'm simply going to do it with pure intent, without any kind of, well, I really love them and I wish they'd get, nah, can't do that. You just have to send out the message. And there, to some people, it's a really hard, to some people, it's a hurdle to jump over. Big bump in the road. And to some people I've seen, they go, well, I love you, man. But it's sort of like there's this indifference attached to the words. Well, if they don't love me, that's okay. I love them anyway. Yeah, but there's something sometimes in there. What certain people say it, it's like they're saying it because they feel like they should, not because they mean it. Now, this is for the. I think Isby asked me the other night. Why don't you start doing classes on shamanism? And I'm like, have you not been paying attention? If I have shaman basics in the title and even the other videos, it is my job as a shaman in training to pass on as much as I can to other folks so that they will understand on their own time. I'm sorry, but it's only 11. It's only 11:12 in my house. Hey, Teresa, Elderberry Cherry, how are you? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. At least that I can remember. Putting loving energy out into the universe is a way of purifying and strengthening your own soul. Hi, Julianne. Doug will be here shortly. He's going to have his shorts on when he gets there. Anyway, did I miss anybody else? Delaney, I think you were in here earlier. I love you there, Pearl. Jerry Danowski, how do you love past the targeting and gangster taking? It got so obvious when I moved to a town. Yep. Jerry, that's one of the things that in this, when I went back to Tampa several years ago, I went down into an old neighborhood. Oh, and hey, Ed, how are you? I went into an old neighborhood. Uh, I grew up there as a kid. My grandparents owned this little store on the corner of 22nd Street in Osborne. And I went back down there just to see if the building was still there. And 5 blocks before I could get there, I was being attacked by mostly blacks, but some Cubanos in there, being it's that end of town, West Tampa, sort of, and Ybor City, that, I was a white man in their neighborhood and I was in a vehicle they didn't recognize and I was from out of state and all that just made it worse. And they were rocking my truck, rolling down the window and going, hey guys, what's up here? What are you doing here in the neighborhood? And I said, well, number one, and it is the truth. I knew somebody about 4 or 5 blocks down, well, 6 or blocks down on Emma Street. And I said, I wanted to go see if my old friend was there. And I said, also, and I was pointing up the street about a block or so. And I said, and my grandparents used to own that store right there. I used to, sit on the porch and read comic books and not, in a way, and part of my life, I grew up on that little corner right there. And they were like, you don't belong in this neighborhood. Get out of here and blah, 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 blah. Okay, Candy, we understand. Just dropped in for a second. Hey, Jody, how are you? But anyway, so one of the things in that the idea of loving your neighbor or loving your spouse or whatever now, to feel that love come back, and that, what, some people would call a twin flame, or anyway, you can feel that in the heat of the moment and it not be there the next day too, by the way. So like, wait a minute, I felt we had something last night, but today there ain't shit. What happened? Just saying. Love at the moment. Now, and I don't like those moments myself, but the idea though that our primary objective is to just be love without, well, it'll clear my spirit, it'll keep my energy clean, and it'll do this. Those things might be true, but if we're doing it for those reasons, no, then you're not really with it. Those are side effects of being in true harmony and love, regardless of the outcome. And if you were in a bad neighborhood, the best thing you can do is try to not get angry, and to try to stay out of, pissing somebody off, and to stay in that love. And you don't have to tell a gangster with a gun in your face, hey man, I love you. You can say, well, I'm a peaceable person. I don't see any need in that. Is violence absolutely necessary? If you'll allow me to, I'll turn around and go back out of your neighborhood. So there are ways that you can use the love to another human being, regardless of it, and you still might get shot. You still might get beat up. That's okay. You say, well, but that's not the point, right? It isn't, because you could get shot, beat, or otherwise, if you didn't have love in your heart. And then where would you be? You'd die with anger on your heart. And, and you want revenge and a vendetta and, but if we stay in as much of the idea of in love to the universe, there are good things that come back on you, or will they? Not 100%. But those people who just allow themselves to give it to the universe understand that it's sort of like wearing a badge of honor. Not that I'm into badges, but to the idea though but who does it matter in the long run? You can sit down and try to quantify and qualify. Well, I gave this person 10 years of my life and I loved them and I took care of them, and then they left me for another man or woman, or both, or they were undecided. And so now you're by yourself and you gave out all this love, and now you're lonely and by yourself, and you gave all this energy out. Now you have nothing left. I've went there, been down this road. So, but in giving that up, you forgive those people for whatever they did. You just say, okay. And you could make a list and go, well, these people were all blah, 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 blah. But if you just say, look, these people were kind of nasty to me, and I'm not going to list everything, but I forgive them even for the small things, and move on. So now you don't feel badly, if you do this correctly, about giving your love and not receiving it, or somebody running around on, the drill. So they've been lying to you the whole time. Oh, I love you. You're my husband. You're my wife, blah, blah, blah. And, and as soon as you're out the door, they're calling somebody to go screw somewhere. Anyway, one of my wives. So, and I caught her. Anyway, with the creepy old man down the street who used to bang his goats. Okay, but that's another story. So, but this idea, though, that you give the love to the universe without expectation. Well, somebody says, so why you do it, Hawkeye? Well, because it's what we should all do. Well, yeah, but are you getting anything out of this? For me, trying to stay in this, and it's frustrating at times. You want to punch people in the face. I get this. But we have to as much as possible, stay in the idea of it doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter whether I get it back right away or from that person or whatever. That part doesn't matter. What is a zillion times important, more than whether or not you get a feedback, is that you stay in the love yourself. Well, I hate your guts. Go away. Leave me alone. I never want to speak to you again. I love you anyway. Okay, if that's what you wish. So you don't try to change their mind. But if you do love them, and if the universe is listening, I've had some of these people come back around years later and go, I really felt bad about that. And I've been wanting to call you, and you doing okay. And, blah, blah, blah. Some people 15, 20, 30 years later, the older you get and depending on your life circumstances. But so this idea of can love conquer all? For our individual lives, spirit, and our souls, it is. Well, I want the war to stop. You don't think there was a lot of love going out during World War II before they even found out about the concentration camps? Oh, yeah. So, all these guys joined up for for the United States because they love their country. Okay. Love, right? And honor. So we still do it, even though it may cost us our life. We do it because that is our pure intent. Whether we get shot, killed, or whatever, injured during that act of love, if you will, isn't what should be in our minds. Because regardless of what happens, we still stay in that act of love. So as a shaman in training, and I've done this before, I think we're all a little guilty, some maybe more than others, about like a particular person. You were married to him, and you gave him all this love, and there's some animosity because they dumped you, screwed you over, took your money, whatever it was, right? Treated you bad. And so you just, I hope I never see that person again, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking of a particular person myself. I would rather not see them. They're not invited to come down my driveway. But if I met them on the street and they wanted to have a conversation with me, because there was love at one time. Now, they destroyed it on my part. I don't hate them. I used to. I don't hate them because I've had to take that larger step for myself and get out of the hate mode and go, they're from their behavior, they're a little nuttier than I am. And I should have seen that. But at the same time, though, do I expect them to honor me the way that I have forgiven them and that I'm honoring them, even though they may be a little bit, shy of a dozen cookies, like only half, or whatever the situation is. But then you have in the understanding of the shaman, though, if the rattlesnake bites you, you still, you can't blame the rattlesnake because he's a rattlesnake, If a crazy person's a crazy person, it might take you 4 years to find out, like I did. And the other people that she had, ruined along the way. And you say, well, I guess I was lucky. I got out of this. I'm not in jail. Or I'm not dead because she tried to poison me. And so it's like, so during all of this, though, then I still love her as a human being, even with her issues, right? And I will respect her as a human being, a nutty one, but and I can deal with that. So I say, well, and somebody says, well, you're calling your ex-wife nutty. Well, she was, if you knew what I knew, she was nutty. And but I'm not going to hate her. She is who she is. So in the idea of divine love, I'm still going to pray that she gets out of her craziness. I still hope that she finds happiness. I still hope, yet if it wasn't with me or whatever, I would hope and pray up to a point, the prayer that is, that she would forgive me for what she said I did wrong, that I didn't, that would get corrected in her head, but that it doesn't really matter in the long run. What mattered to me was my forgiving her, my understanding on my part, whether she ever heard it from me or anybody told her or anybody, that part doesn't matter. What matters is that I made up my mind, because it's my spirit when I die and when I make the transition. It doesn't matter whether she loves me back. It doesn't matter whether she forgave me. It does not matter. What matters is that I figured it out for myself. I stopped being in hate. I stopped being in anger and revenge and, I want to punch your lights out, and pulled myself back from the brink, if you will, and said, I've got to stay in love about this. Doesn't mean I'm going to invite him back in. Doesn't mean I'm going to give him any. Doesn't mean other than I have settled what has already happened. What may come in the future, don't know, but I know in my heart I'll still love him for that. Because at some point I felt love back from this person. Otherwise, I wouldn't have married him. But it was in the craziness of it all that she's like, nah, I didn't die. She changed her mind. So, but anyway, it's okay. We can change our minds. Um, but in the Shaman book of love, if you will, it goes out to everyone equally. Why? Because in the stories of Creator, of the Great Spirit, and even in the Bible, we are all created in the image and likeness of God, right? And we are all loved by the Creator. Each because, from the Creator's point of view, supposedly from God, in the Creator's point of view, we are all created equally. None rises above or below another. Now, our actions in our lifetime can make us a really evil SOB and be not nearly as close to the grace of the Creator, of that loving eternal light. If they're hacking somebody with a machete, I love you, Jesus, hack, hack, hack. Maybe not so much. And all the killing during the Crusades and things, and oh my God, we're not going into that. But it's the personal forgiveness of whoever might not give us love back, who might actually hate our guts, who think we're the crazy ones. It's okay. So where the extra love comes in is in honoring them, even though they don't like us. Well, you know what? I know you don't like me. You hate my long hair. You don't like my point of view. That's okay. I still love you anyway. What? Yeah, you can hate my guts. You can hate my point of view. It's okay. But as a brother to brother, do you understand about the universe? Do you understand about Creator? Do you understand about higher things? Well, I don't think any of that shit matters. Well, then I love you anyway, and good luck with your spiritual life that you don't seem to care about. So it's okay. Me, myself, and I, and you all, we can't make everybody, turn to love. We can't make them. We can be good stewards and we can be good examples. And by our example, they will see what we mean by our love. They will see by our deeds that we have love in our hearts. They can see, by how other people are affected by us. This guy might, hate my guts, But I got 30 other people over here like, Dave, man, let's go hiking, or let's go have a fire, or so there's always going to be somebody that hates your guts, and it's all right. We cannot please everyone at all times. And that's not our job, because it's up to them to decide. We just have to be true at heart. So if we stay true in love, no matter what the other person or persons might say, or entities, if you are in the light of love, they're going to look at you and see and go, man, that guy's got all this love energy going on. I don't know if I want to go mess with them or not. So, but if you're wishy-washy and you got this sort of like light, dark kind of thing going on, and you're not really sure of who you are and whether or not you're really committed to the idea of the love, despite, um, despite whatever the consequences are, despite whether or not anybody loves you back, just without being, um, allowing our perception of it. Well, I don't know why they don't like me. I did all these things. I don't know why they hate my God. We can say that, but then we have to say, I don't know why. Maybe I should try a little harder. Maybe there's something that I've said. So with love, we can see if we can find out. But there's also when we need to stay the hell out of it. If there's a bunch of gangsters in your neighborhood and they're fixing to beat the shit out of you, you can go into this love and harmony and everything, but you might just piss them off, right? You can just say, look, I mean you no harm, whatever it is, but what you do is you allow your spirit guide to keep you out of those circumstances. Ask your guardian angel. If you know you're going into a strange section of town, or there's crime or whatever, you just say, listen, help me keep an eye on these folks. For the love of the universe, help protect me. And so that's the best you can do under those circumstances. Now, you might carry a gun for protection, but my point is that you should know ahead of time. You look down a dark alley and there's, you see the movies where the young lady's, she's walking down the alley in her high heels after work. And I'm thinking to myself, you're putting yourself in a situation. Well, but I got to go home. Should you go home that way? Could you call a cab? Is there some? And then, well, I got mugged in a dark alley. Well, what were you doing in the dark alley? I've been mugged. I've been beat up. I understand. We was in the middle of the road downtown Tallahassee and got mugged through the car and through the car window. Stopped at a stop sign right downtown Tallahassee, and I still have a scar where the big black man's uh, big shiny diamond ring kept hitting me in the face, and I was sent to the hospital after that from concussions. I still have issues with that. Don't know who he was. Don't know what. Didn't have any money, so don't know what the deal was. But shit happens. So for a long time, I hated that bastard. Whoever he is or was. But I realized that every time I thought about it, and every time I closed my eyes and I saw his huge fist coming at me and hitting me in the head and knocking me out and making me crazy, I was like, I can still see it in my mind's eye, but I had to go, whatever was his issue, I can't stay angry. I cannot, like, what do you do that for? What the fuck? Because it will pop into my head and I go, we just have to deal with this. It happened. It's over with. Whoever the person was, I'm not going to wish him any harm. But if that's what he was doing, he might have got gangstered himself. It could have got a shiv or something, or run over by a car. Don't know. But when you live with violence, sometimes violence is what takes you. So I just said I had to give it up to the universe and say, all right, if there's revenge to be had, it'll be through his own karma. So I couldn't wish the harm on him, but it was like, but if there's some, if he's got to work out some bad karma, remember I'm on the list, of the bad karma. So with love, we give it without expectation. Now, if we're in love with someone, you're hoping that there's this, combined love thing back and forth going on with you, man, wife, whatever, lovers, however, okay? Or just brothers and sisters, or sisters or brothers, but, there doesn't have to be sex involved, but, there is that intense love that you just know is there. Johan and Doug's in the house and Project Skyfalls. Terry's still here. Hi, Michelle. So I think the cricket is me. They are out in full force tonight. Oh, yeah, the crickets. Yeah, and the other night, day before yesterday, I think, I've seen the first fireflies. I thought, wow, there goes a UFO. And I went, nope. And then I noticed that it has to be a certain temperature before if it's too cold, the fireflies won't come out. Along with a lot of other critters, like frogs won't croak if it's too cold. And anyway, so with everything that we are doing as a soul tribe, as members of the League of Like-Minded Beings, as human beings, hybrids as we are, to the universe, to the angels, what difference does it make? And you go, well, we all did this meditation and this prayer. We want to stop the killing and the thing, and we didn't really see any change. So I guess it's not working. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it's working in around the side. We have to do it regardless of what we expect. So we might do a meditation today, and there's 100 people that meditates, and we're all on the same subject. We're all on the same frequency. And then the next day or two, we look back and go, ain't shit happened. So what's the point of all this? It may have happened in to someone's heart that we just don't know about. That prayer, our collective prayer, could have reached people that we don't get any feedback from. We really don't know if it worked or not, because if we have expectations, well, we want the fighting to stop in China, or we want, Mao Zedong, we want this thing to happen. Okay, maybe it don't happen right away. Maybe it takes 10 years for that to come true. Maybe it takes more meditation. But along the line, we may not be changing a person's point of view, but our kindness and our love is reaching other people that give kindness and love and kind of could use a little boost, you know what I'm saying? Because their government or whatever ain't, they're not seeing it, they're oppressed, So we send out the love and hope that just somebody just wandering around there in the universe says, wow, I feel the love of the universe. It's them 100 people in America that or wherever that are meditating, and somebody in the Highlands of Scotland are going, I hate these damn, and all of a sudden they go, but I feel the love of the universe. So what we do, how we do it, we can hope. Our expectation is that we hope it makes a difference, and that's okay. We hope our love will make a difference. But if we expect it to make a difference and we don't see any, feedback from it, or well, I don't see where this is really doing us any good, then people want to give up the fact that love don't work at all. From a shaman's point of view, the whole tribe, there's this one character, and no matter what they do as a tribe and as individuals, this person is still a shithead. You probably know someone like that. They're just born differently. And no matter all these other people agree, they're all trying to be nice, but this guy is just, or girl, is just a shithead. They steal, they are, you know, dishonorable to the elders, to the chiefs, to the women, or, you know, to the brothers or whatever. They're not honorable to Mother Earth. They, you know, but the tribe loves them anyway, even though they have to say, get out of here. We love you, but you can't stay here. You know, it's 12 o'clock, it's closing time. Don't care where you go, but you can't stay here. You know what I mean? And sometimes it is our love that creates these situations where we have to do an intervention. And we say, we love you, but, you know, if you keep drinking and doing what you're doing, you keep beating up on the kids, or no, this can't, we love you, but the situation, we've tried through prayer and loving things, but you're obviously not paying attention. It's obviously not reaching you and getting to you. So we're going to have to tell you you can't stay here anymore. You got to go live in the next tribe, or you got to go live in the next town, or you're going to jail, or if you've done something really bad, sorry, buddy, but we got to hang your ass. You know, we love you. We tried, but you know, you ended up raping some kid or something. And, you know, and we, as much as we love you, we can't allow this to happen another time anymore. No, the rest of us, you're throwing the rest of the tribe out of sync. So with love, because if they didn't have love, that because this one person has affected this whole tribe of people, with love for each other within the tribe, they have to make a decision and go, we cannot allow this person, even though we've tried, to affect us any longer. So whatever the punishment is, banishment, or you know what I mean. So, but I've seen it done, and it's done with love and honor and without anger, because anger just that just makes the situation even worse. So, what is my after 52 minutes and 19 seconds? What is the answer to this? We continue to love with our hearts and our wholeness without expectation. That's the hard part. We just give it. Well, now, do we have ulterior motives? Well, yeah, I've learned that if I don't have love in my heart and I carry around this anger and stuff, then it comes out sometimes in my personality, and I don't want to be angry or pissed off. And the anger might be that someone else has triggered me in the present about something that's happened 30, 40 years ago, or 10, or whatever. But if I have love in my heart and I've given up, you know, turned these other incidents over to the universe, yeah, I still remember them, but I don't put any emotion to them, right? Sometimes I want to, you know, it doesn't last long, but why I ought to, you know, bust you one. But anyway, with this idea, though, that the more we do it without any kind of expectations, now we all get together, we do a thing where we want to send prayers to a sick friend, and well, did it get better? You know, we hope it does. But if we over expect it, well, they should have gotten up and, you know, and walked on water after we prayed for them. They should have, you know, been able to, you know, just let's keep it. We hope that we help in whatever it is without expectation coming back. And a lot of times it's difficult. Now, when I say we give it to the universe, we don't give it up. Okay. No, 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 no. There are a lot of people who say, well, I'm giving this up to the universe. I'm giving it up to God. It's his. No, we give the prayer to the universe, but we might have to follow up on it depending on what it is. So we don't give it up, because that's giving up. So if you give it to the universe, but you don't give it up to the universe, okay? It's very important. I've heard some people talk about this over the last few years. Well, I give it up to the universe. Throw the word up out. I give it to the universe. Now, it may be that the universe wants me to intercede. I might have to follow up on some of this stuff. Or if there was a group of us that were praying for someone or something, it may be that as a group we need to come back together and do follow up meditation or our prayers, or we do something. If we just give it up to the universe, then that's saying, well, I got nothing more to do with this. That's not true. Then why'd you give it to the universe to begin with? Now, here's the thing. You give it to the universe and you know that you did, and you remember that you did, and that's okay. But expecting from the universe to handle it in some way that you might have, for me, I'm like, well, blah, 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 blah. And I see this thing in my head and it don't work out that way. And you go, well, but they got better or a situation changed. So you look at it and you go, well, the prayers worked, but not as I expected. Well, a lot of times it won't work out the way you expect. Okay. Because there's all these infinite things and stuff that interact with, each of us and during different situations. So can love conquer all? The answer is yes, but only in your own heart. What? Yes. It conquers everything in you because you understand what this cosmic love means, what the love for the universe and the love of creator and being open to the source of all things, the love from the universe and that energy. And regardless of the outcome, we still are in that state of love. So does it help out our neighbors on either side in the long run? Maybe not. But that's not our worry. Our worry is to do it with good intentions. And if we need a follow up or something, but remember, don't give it up to the universe. Give it to the universe. Just keep that word up out of there. You don't want to give up. So I may not ponder. Now, my friend who's been sick for several months now, and I've been wondering, I don't know how to get in touch with her. And the last I heard, she was still alive, but had the virus thingy and a lot of other issues. I haven't heard anything more. So I keep sending prayers out and hope that, and if she's still alive, well, then I guess the prayers are working. Is she at home again and on her feet and back to do? No, I don't think so. Otherwise, I think I would have heard from her. But that I don't give up though. I give my prayers to the universe. And I might come along later on and go, remember that prayer I said earlier? I'm kind of bringing that. I'm sending some backup to that prayer. Now I leave it alone without sitting there and cogitating and worrying and now that's where people say, well, I gave it up to the universe. Just keep that up part out. You give it to the universe, but you don't give up on it. Because if I send a prayer to my friend, at some point later on, I'm going to think about my friend. So I didn't give it up, did I? I'm going to follow up that first prayer with another thought. I hope hope the prayer got to them. I hope they're doing okay. I might need to sit down and do another, good solid prayer and, or meditate or whatever for them. But I don't give it up to the universe. I send it to the universe with positive love intent in hopes that it will do as much as good as possible. So that's where we have to be in this. Well, don't you love your dog? Yeah. I love my dog, but if he runs off and I can't find him for 3 hours in the middle of the night and I can hear him down on the river, does it mean he don't love me because he won't listen to me? No. I love him regardless of whether or not he's running through the swamp at 2 in the morning and barking at deer or whatever, And I have to chase him down and go down there in the slop and the mess at 2 in the morning to bring his ass back to the house, kind of thing, which I had to do the other day. So, but he is getting somewhat better. But whatever he was chasing. But here's the thing, though. Do I dislike when he does that? Yeah. Do I hate Duggar for it? No, I don't like the behavior, but he always comes home and wags his tail and licks me in the face. He always, jumps up on the couch and wants to sleep with me and snuggle. So do I hate him? No, I hate the behavior. Does he know I love him when he's chasing that deer or whatever he ain't thinking about me for a squat. But I, in my caring for the dog, hope he's not sitting in a hole or, we got wild boar around here, he didn't tangle with something else, you know what I mean, and get hurt. And then me trying to find him would really be difficult. But to the point, though, so that's just a dog. That's just our animal. But there are people who get frustrated with their animals. I get frustrated with Duggar too, but I still love him. You follow me? And whether or not he's listening to me calling him back to the house, the fact that he comes home and wags his tail and licks my face tells me that he loves me, even though he's down the river not paying attention. See, so it's an unconditional thing. He shows it to me, I show it to him, and sometimes the two don't quite jag. He wanted to go outside earlier today, and I just wasn't feeling it. But we did go outside. We did go down in the woods. We did go on a walk. So he has to put up with I'm not in the mood to go out with you now. And I have to put up with you ain't coming home at the moment you're down on the river. You see? But the love is still there. Okay. Now, that's me and my dog. But that's just an example as to the universe. Now, his bad behavior doesn't put me in any danger. It puts him in danger, But he's learning not to go up to the road. He's learning not to go, over to this house, So, and I've had him almost a year now, right at it. So, but the idea though that somehow my love is being affected by his behavior. Now, if I lived which I did, when I lived in a household where, it was, getting beat up all the time, verbally, physically, whatever, or getting poisoned, that's a behavior that's it's not just a dog behavior like barking or doing or something, you know what I mean? So, and you're hoping that another person, supposedly your spouse, wouldn't do that kind of stuff to you. Just saying, because they say, well, I love you, Dave. And then, so there's another subject that when truth becomes lies. So you tell the truth. Somebody says, they think you're telling the truth. How are you and the wife getting along? Oh, we're doing okay. When actually that's not the truth. But on the outward appearance, you lie. You hope that things are going to get better. You're praying that something will work out. But but down deep inside, when the divorce comes and all your friends go, I thought you and the old lady was doing okay. Well, so did I, blah, blah, blah. See, so the truth that you told then becomes a lie because things weren't really all right. The love that you was putting forth to your partner, whatever, you knew wasn't it was there was no kind of compassion even. And so that whatever the reason for the marriage wasn't the same reason I was married. Okay. Convenient, for her was a matter of convenience at the time. And hiding out from the law, I found out later on. But anyway, so, but this idea though that with love, we have to see that, wait a minute, if a spouse or whatever or something, and they're creating more havoc emotionally, spiritually, through love and anger and everything and disruption, to where you cannot maintain a loving attitude towards anything. You're just pissed off all the time because this, whatever this is always, getting in your stuff. Then you have to make that decision and have the courage, like antelope, and have the courage to say, listen, I really do still love you, but because of your behavior, it's the behavior always. It's the behavior that you do not like. It's not the person. Now you could say, yeah, I don't like the person either because they keep doing the behavior. All right, all right, all right. But if you're talking to the person, you tell them, I love you, I do. But your behavior is just it's dishonorable, and I'm sorry, but I cannot tolerate it anymore. And I don't. If you wish to have me in your life as a full loving person, then at least around me, you have got to stop this behavior or slow it down or whatever it might be. Otherwise, I love you, but I can't be around you, and I would wish that not come by if you're going to be that way. If you're going to come by and be drunk all the time and piss on my floor and knock shit off the walls and off the shelves, then I love you, but don't come. You know, honk the horn. I'll go out in the yard, but you're not coming in the house. And I've had situations like that, and it's just like, you're not coming in my house. You can stay here on the property. Here's a tent. Here's stuff. But no, you're not coming in my house. Well, I don't have any place to go. Okay, but you created the situation. But if you think you're going to come in my house and tear it up, nah, no. There's 18 acres you can wander around in, and but you're not going to tear up my house. Bad enough. But the idea, though, that there's still love there, I showed compassion and love to this person, and later on things worked out, and he said, I appreciate, in his own little way, he said, I know I created problems for you, but I appreciate you let me stay. And I was like, okay, that's all that's necessary. Whatever happened, whatever he disrupted, and I took a lot of it to heart because I was trying to be compassionate. And at the same time, I learned I give the compassion out, but if I'm expecting, because of his mental condition, especially at the time, he is incapable of giving it back to me. He isn't capable of showing honor because his brain scrambled for whatever reasons. But so in love, we look at the situation and go, I can still love and honor them as a human being, but their behavior and their things and whatever, they're disruptive to me, to others. So we keep these people at arm's length for our own safety. Okay. So we can stay in love. But when we allow these certain people, and it's not all the time, but you know what I mean. If we allow these certain people to affect us, then our love goes down because this one person is bugging us. This one person is crashing our party. This one person is keeping us from being in the light that we wish to be in as much as possible. So, but anyway, an hour and 8 minutes later. So let me check. David Castle, someone can send me a message on Messenger and tell me when I need to get online. I'll give you my, okay. Hey, Johan, Elderberry, I got drunk every night. I used to get drunk every night too. Seriously. I mean, I was a full-fledged alcoholic. Yeah, I've been in some kind of Facebook jail for a long time now. You are describing my mother, Hawkeye, but I take her as the best lesson ever to learn how to love, even in dark times. She can't help where she is in life, but I can control me. Exactly, Candy. That is exactly right. When my mother was dying, my adopted mother was dying, and it was just like, my granny opened up. I've had other people I wasn't even related to would sit down and talk about things about their life. Not so with Bessie. And and knowing she was going to die, do you have anything you want to talk about, Mom? No. Well, you want me to leave? No, I like your company, but you don't want to talk to me, but you want me in the room. It was really strange. And I spent a week with her down there, lost my job over it and everything. I mean, a good paying job. But anyway, do I regret it? No, because I honored her no matter how she felt about me or whether or not things were resolved or none of that. I still wish, even to this day, that she had opened up at least some, not so much for my benefit, but for hers. But anyway, so yeah, the lesson was I can't hate her. She's not my real mother, she's my adopted mother, but I can't hate her. She did take care of me. She did, even though sometimes it was like, when it's your child, you want to take care of them. If you adopt a child, it's like, man, why did I do this? Regrets, right? Oh, you broke your, oh shit, I got to take you to the doctor. Ah, damn it. There were those times. But anyway, so a few years ago, I was quite cantankerous, but my state of mind, my concussion that I had, that recent concussion that I had years ago, the medications, the seizures I was having, and so though the people that were around me at that time saw me at that time, but they haven't come back to see me. So they saw me at my really at my worst. I mean, I'm puking on your shoes, I'm peeing on stuff because I have no bladder control. I'm having seizures every 5 or 10 minutes. I'm drooling everywhere. I can't do anything for myself hardly. And so they gave up on me at that point because I was at my lowest. So anything that was said during that time, well, you said some really nasty things during that time. Do you realize where I was in that time? Head chemicals, head bangs, neurology. I mean, will you at least give me a nod and go, well, I know you were going through some stuff. Well, then allow me to have at least a conversation. What did I say that pissed you off? What did I do? What thing that, well, did you know? Well, you did this and it just set me the wrong way. Well, it set me the wrong way too, because it was a behavior that I could see and I couldn't stop myself. And that's horrible. It's like you're being possessed by something or someone else, right? So, and you're trying your best, there's a part of your brain that's going, don't do it, Dave. And you end up doing it anyway. And so, and I said, but, we've known each other for a long time. Couldn't you at least come to me and sat down and had this little conversation? You just had to say, well, he's fucked up. Forget him. We ain't going to have anything more to do with him. Really? If you'd been in a bad car accident or something and got all hosed up because you broke your leg or whatever, and you can't go hiking anymore or whatever, that you're going to say, well, you're not my friend anymore because we used to go hiking all the time and you can't go hiking, so you're not my friend. It's like that, isn't it? So, but anyway, we do the best that we can from that shaman's point of view. Yes, we're going to slip up. We're human, or, at least parts of us are. We're here, those of us in this chat and that hang out, the Soul Tribe and so forth, we want to do better. However it is, we want to learn how to be better people. And by doing so, that we are spiritually better people. So, yeah, I want to go to heaven without having to go through a gauntlet of crap, So, depending on how you look at heaven, So my job for me, regardless of how it comes back, is to stay in a state of love as much as possible. Yeah, you get pissed off. Yeah, you do this. Yeah, you're tired. Yeah, sometimes you don't feel like sending out the juice, But, even though at low energy, which, of course, I was up past dawn this morning because of some of you people in my last night. But anyway, so, when Doug wanted to go out and play in the yard, I was like, I wasn't having it, But anyway, we still went outside today and played some. But it's all your fault. But in that, though, uh, you tickle me. Somebody said something. It was probably Doug and Michelle. you know, uh, that kept me up all night long to do it. But anyway, love mission. Y'all talking about something else? Okay, not a problem. Yeah, deflect the targets. Yeah, fake book. I understand. Y'all talk among yourselves. I'm talking to myself over here. So, but also in that, what I do with this channel is that there are those times when I'm like, you want me to talk about what? And they go, yeah, I'm like, so I do it without how many, well, nobody's going to listen to this, or how many people can't do it. You just have to give it to the universe and allow it to mix, mold, or whatever around there. And, whatever the outcome is, even if it's poorly, you go, well, I tried, I did the best I could. And if that is the truth, and you really did the best you could, now some days your energies are higher, some days your energies are lower. So it's not about, well, my energy was low the other day, so I don't think I did a really good job. You got to not go there, okay? You have to say, well, my energy was low the other day, but I still sent prayers out. That's the answer. Well, you yourself know, well, I was probably down on a low part on my, on my biorhythm, and I really didn't have extra energy to push out to the universe. But you still said your prayers. You still had a moment of silence for the soul tribe, or for the for family. And so, and in my prayer, I continue to pray that each and every one of you, regardless of male, female, that you will continue to learn to accept, receive, and to share the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. And I tried to condense it more, but it doesn't. But by saying those words every time, that is my prayer. And I really do mean it. So, regardless of how energetically I feel, because I mean it every time I say it, my intent has been boom, pushed into the universe. So now every time I say it, just here at the house, and I'm doing my, oh man, I don't feel like walking, Duggar, but okay. So I'm going to take a deep breath and say a prayer. Give me strength, Creator, so I can go play with my dog so he won't be bad at me, and also during that, I wish that all of my friends and neighbors and all of the people that I know within the soul tribe will continue to accept and receive, So regardless of how I feel, regardless of what my energy level is, it's still the same prayer. Albeit sometimes there's a whole crap load of energy that I could probably build a new sun, or a moon anyway, or just bend over and shoot a moon. But there are times when it's like, man, I'm having trouble getting to the bathroom, and it's just right over there, right? So my energy level is low. But regardless of what my energy is, my intent never changes. If anything, there are times when it gets more intense, but my intent never changes, because I do actually mean this from my heart to all of you. So, and I've told you before, I don't expect anything in return. I even said last night or early this morning, if you feel like you got to send me a blessing, I'm already blessed by you being here. So pick on somebody else. Not that I love your comments and your blessings. That's not what I mean. But I feel already so blessed that, on my behalf, you say, well, I wish to send this blessing to Dave or to Hawkeye. And then my thing is, thank you for your blessing, but send that prayer to someone else who may really need it more than me at the moment. You have my permission to say, well, I'm going to send blessings out to Hawkeye, but this friend of mine really needs it. And I bet you Hawkeye would go along with me on this. And I would. So utilize what you would send to me, give it to somebody else. That's especially if it's necessary. Because by your participation, I already know. You know what I mean? So, not that I'm saying don't ever send me a prayer or don't ever send me a good wish. That's not what I mean. But there are other people, though, in my humble opinion, because of what I already understand about certain things. If you think they deserve a blessing and want my message to kind of go along with it, you have my permission. Steal that little bit of energy. Well, I'm sending this prayer on my behalf and on Dave's behalf, and I'm sending it to my brother, or I'm sending it to my sister, or does that make sense? So, an hour and 21 minutes. It's 1:15, 1:14. Is there a full moon today? No, my drawers fell down. But anyway, that's a yes, there are due weapons in mind control. Yes, yes, yes. New moon. We're in new moon right now, more or less. Um, Louisiana. Yeah, here's the thing about the Montauk Project and that type of thing. Look at commercials. Look at commercials when I was growing up 50 years ago. And hey guys, how you doing? We have endless blessings for everyone. It will not run out. Right. 3 more hours. Yep. I grew up with the Montauk Project for the first years of my life. Oh, that sucks. Listen, and not to compare it, but in a way, I grew up in the Catholic Church for 12 years. Graduated high school, Tampa Catholic. And people say, well, that's not like the Montauk program, or it's not like this or that. Listen, when a nun hits you with a ruler and you got to do these things, it may not be the Montauk Project, but it is damn sure mind control. It is damn sure control, period, right? And they're messing with your mind. I went in Catholic school, you had to learn about the dogma and all of we had to know all of the different crusades and who was Pope and who did what. Who gives a crap, right? But I was like, man, these Catholics murdered a bunch of people, didn't they? Anyway. But so there are people who are being mind controlled. You know me, I've talked about this before. They can't put their phone down. Refuse to shut it off for an hour. Somebody might call me. Okay. You know, they won't put the phone down. They won't shut it off at night when they go to sleep. They refuse and they go, well, I'm not being mind controlled. Really? Oh, well, I got to use this Instacart. There's an app for that. Can you not think for yourself? There's an app out there like, send me money and I'll show you how to, you know, save money. You know, like, why don't you take part of your paycheck and take $10 and stick it in the damn piggy bank? You know, that's what I do. I don't trust them. I've lost money in 401k. I lost money with stock market investment that was stock in a company that I worked for. Then they sold out and the stock wasn't any good, you know. So this idea, how do you save money? You put some under your damn bed. You know, don't, oh, well, it's in an IRA account. Well, it's in an app that I've got. Look, I got $20 in this app. See, I'm saving money. Look how, and the commercial is like, well, if I had an app to help teach me how to save money, quit spending it. That's how you save money. Oh, but I got to have an app to do it. Holy Jesus Christ. There's your piggy bank. You know, it's in an app. People aren't mind controlled at all. You know what I mean? Nobody's getting mind controlled. Oh, want to bet? It's right in front of us. Jody, one thing that comes to mind from Family Guy is Peter converted his son to Judaism, and a bunch of nuns were alerted by some computer chip, and they started chasing after him in a bus with rulers. Oh my God. And Peter and Chris had to jump in the bush as you see the nuns, rulers out the window of the bus. Yeah, that was reality for us in back, at least back in the 60s. And Doug, I'm not, or I guess it was you. Hey, Jerry. Yeah, Project Monarch. But the thing is that people think that they're not trying to um, mind control us. And there are those people who are so asleep and who are so mind controlled, they don't see it. But for me, an old timer and somebody who refuses to participate as much as possible, to participate as little as possible. Bob, we love you. Thank you. But that the idea, though, that somehow, um, you know, they won't take any responsibility. Well, they got a doorbell that looks at everybody that comes up. They talk to Alexa, you know, Alexa, call the house. Alexa, open my car. Alexa, get up off your dead ass and go, you know, Alexa, you know, oh my God. Oh my God. These people are already attached to the AI. But you know, from an outsider like myself looking in, I go, them people are controlled. Well, no, we're not. What can you shut? Will you shut any of it off? Well, no, no. This is a computer age, and my computer, and I got to have all this stuff. Do you? Well, what happens when the lights go out? I'm just saying. You got none of that. Get trapped in your house, you know. Like I think it was Eureka, the series, you know, and they had this smart house, right? And the house got pissed off at them and wouldn't let them in or wouldn't let them out or something. And so you know, it's sort of like 2001 Space Odyssey and how, you know, Dave, uh, you know, he took over. So the idea that what the AI thinks is good for us and what we allow it to be a part of our life. I'm sure I like using the computer, but when I ain't, I close the damn lid. Is it listening? Maybe, but it can't see me because I got the lid down. So whatever camera or whatever might be able to hear me. Okay, probably hears me through other devices or some kind of, you know, my connection to the universe. They probably tap me. But you know, there are people who wave their nose into things and go like, I'm going to talk about this and I don't care, you know. And I've always said, don't be stupid Be pragmatic. You know, people will put stuff in a title, you know, and then wonder why they get canceled. Well, you're creating an algorithm they're already looking for. So there are times when I say where I'm talking in code. You know, that guy that's up there in the thing. You know, you know. So rather than, well, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and versus saying their names out loud, we infer who these people are. We know, but does Bob know? Does his cousins, the AI, know what we're talking about? Our inference to a person or personages could be all kinds of stuff. But if I look at it and go, you know who I'm talking about, you know, does the AI? Well, but if you put it in the title of your damn video or something and you wonder why you got canceled, or don't be stupid, you know. Well, the subject, yeah, you're copying things and you're pasting them. Talk about the subject, but use the code for God's sakes, you know. We weren't a part of World War II, but back in them days, people didn't say stuff. They sent things in code. We still do. But for people, and that's how I can tell. And some of these people, I mean, they're supposed to be like the, you know, the right wing conservative party kind of thing, and they turn around and do the same stupid shit, and they go, well, I don't know why I got, you know, put in Facebook prison, because you spelled out exactly what they're looking for. Don't do it. Be smarter than them, you know? Do they have an algorithm that says, I'm looking at you all, and you know who I'm talking about, right? About that guy who did that thing. We were talking, no, I'm making this up right now. But to the point though, remember what I talked about the other night? And remember that guy who did that thing we talked about? Yeah, okay. So now everybody's on board, everybody gets it. And if they don't, then go watch the video the night before. But you know, and some of the antics, and you can probably kind of guess who we're discussing, right? But so why do you have to spell it out? Because they're listening, they're paying attention. I played that one Beatles song, right? And they flagged my video because they played Fool on the Hill, you know. And I was like, how did the AI know that I played that song when it was played over speakers from my computer to the microphone and then out to the airs? It picked it up. They're literally listening to the music. Okay. So if you don't think they know what the patterns are and that kind of thing. So we, if we can see that it's there, and for me, you know, if there's a cop down the road and I'm hauling a pound of weed, I'm not going to stop it there. You know, I'm going to go, oh, I think I'll turn left down this dirt road right here, you know, and wait until the, you know, no, I'm not going to try to bust a checkpoint with a pound of weed in my car or truck. No, I'm going to be sneaky about it, you know, which I was. So maybe it's because I was a pirate in a previous life or something. To the AI thing, wait, hang on, Jody. I noticed something was going up the. Yeah, same stupid shit. I can't stand TV anymore because of all the mind control, hypnosis, and spells. I call it spell-o-vision. So do a lot of other people, Isby. I'm glad you made it home safe too, by the way. Oh, Pearl, is that who's going to run for senator? Is Herschel Walker? Oh, cool beans. No, I didn't check that. I saw that, you know, that Trump is endorsing somebody to run for senator, and I saw that it was a black man. I didn't know it was Herschel Walker. Oh my God. For those of us in Georgia, Herschel Walker was like the bomb. More stories of ex-wives. Yeah. Um, Doug says Long Island is 97% mind controlled even now. I was one of the few people to escape with my mind. Yeah, I don't know, but I thank you. Did you ever meet Stuart Swerdlow, by the way, or know about him, Doug? Johann Dancing Gypsy, are you asking me if I've talked with Deborah lately? The answer is no. Um, and I'd rather not go into it. Just no. To the AI thing, I have noticed that in videos about the progression of a race that being coming machine is heavily implied in a lot of these types of videos and subjects about evolution and stuff. Yes. And that the next step of any race would be to become a machine. And I see that implied a lot. Oh, yeah, it is. And a lot of, I like animation and cartoons. And so I've been watching some of these animations that I did not know existed, okay, because I didn't have cable. So in my television watching, it's through my subscriptions, but they're talking about cloning this and this clone, and in this one particular one, it was like they killed the one guy, and the guy that killed him or whatever, it got back, and he was like, "Whoa!" There, he said, "Look, you think that was the only one of me there is, and I've got many more." And he looks at him and he points at him and he says, "And you can, I can get rid of you because I've got more of you as well." And it was like, what? This is a kid's cartoon, okay? And I'm like, so cloning has been around the discussion and the mind control thing. I mean, uh, I'm sorry, I just get a kick out of Invader Zim. But even in it, it's like the mind control. We're going to replace the brain with this one, and then the dog's brain got into the AI and took over the thing. And anyway, Stuart has some videos up on YouTube, but they might be gone now. He still has a channel, and they usually on Saturdays they put up a video about an hour long of current events. Sorry. But he was part of the Montauk project as well, Doug, is my point. That's the hive mind concept through transhumanism. Yes. Rick and Morty is awesome. Yes, I love Rick and Morty. It's so crazy. And, they went to the place and there were all these Mortys running around the different Ricks. Anyway, but in that, though, in the humor of things, though, they're also showing this other stuff, the transhumanism. Well, there's a bunch of them. Well, there are a bunch of Ricks and there are a bunch of Mortys, Well, how'd they get there? Well, they cloned them and they did this and, and the idea of being connected to the computer, would it be cool to have like a visor that, that you could see and that kind of thing? Yeah. But do I want it hooked to my brain to where I can see it through one of my eyes or something, through a contact lens? Because no, I do not. And people who use Wi-Fi stuff, Bluetooth, I love you all, but if you're using any kind of Bluetooth device on your head, stop it, please. Because that's mind control. All these people that have got these, headphones that are, Bluetooth, is sending and receiving, and it's attached to your brain, radio signals. And you say you know what it is, but we don't. There have been shown too many times that they're, I mean, the Beatles did it, play this backwards kind of thing. The idea that there are hidden messages, in certain waveforms. There are certain tones and we learn about it all the time, that how much different frequencies and tones of sounds can affect us or not affect us, or drive us mad. So, but they'll put these devices on their head and think nothing of it. And well, they're jogging, they're doing this thing, ain't paying attention to nature because they're shut off. You know, they're listening to their favorite tunes. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but there are people who stay in that mode way more than they ought to, just saying. And they say, well, I'm not being mind controlled. Well, then take them off. Well, no, I like it. Take them off. No, you're addicted and you don't even know it. That is the AI. That is what it is. I'm aware that where he was, that's how I found out about the montage. Oh, I see. So it was through Stewart. That's interesting. Jody says, oh, I love the Invader Zim. I'm sorry that the show was awesome, but to the point. Yeah, and I'll go back and watch it. And there are these, and it's Y17 or Y14 or something, and it's like, but it's on the Cartoon Channel, and kids are watching this, and was watching the Care Bears or something, and they had this whole political thing. I think I talked about it a couple months ago, but they went through this thing about the president and all this kind of stuff, and it's it's Care Bears, it's the Legos or something. It's like, for under 10, So they're brainwashing these kids right off the mat, the thing. Face diapers. Yeah, there was some people I saw today, and I was like, there was nobody around them in this mall area. Nobody around them, and they got masks on. The family members sitting around the table, and I was like, are you all really that scared? You were at home together. You were in the car together and wore your mask. Why did you put your mask on when you got in the car, but still the three of you? Do you wear your mask around the house because it's three family members? Now, I say this because by leaving the house, sometimes you're in your car and ain't nobody around you, but you got to wear that mask. Seriously? There's nobody around you. You're in your car, you and your family who were just in the house without a mask. Now you put them on because you're in the car. Does not make sense. And now these same people, I love them, I do. And they go to the mall. There's nobody there. They're in this food court. They ain't a soul within 50 feet of them. And maybe there's like 10 people in the whole place, right? And they're wearing their masks. And I'm like, there's nobody there. You were at home together. You were in the car, but you had to put your mask. And now you're here and you're trying to eat through your mask. And I'm like, is it mind control? Are people that scared? Do they understand, well, I'm outside, so I must have to wear my mask? Or is it that wherever you live, that's the mandate if you get caught without it? There's nobody around in where you're at. Why are you, like, take the damn thing off, you're eating, for crying out loud. So while there are people like the state of Florida, them folks down there in Fort Myers a couple of weeks ago, where everybody was criticizing the Floridians for not wearing masks in the store. I went to the store the other day in Coolidge, and I was surprised at the number of people who went back to wearing a mask. And it was like, wait a minute, 3 months ago, half of you people wouldn't have had these masks on. Now, I can't say it's the same people that I saw in the store before, but that's not my point. There were more people wearing a mask now over a year later than was doing it, 6 months ago when it was supposed to be at its worst. So these people are being mind controlled that regardless. I'm not insane, didn't have headaches, not a zombie, enjoy listening, and I'm not waking up. I'm not waking brother up. So I'm keeping my Bluetooth headsets. I understand that, but also, Teresa, you must understand what radio frequencies do to your brain sitting on your head. Just saying. Uh, yes, I agree, Doug. Montauk Project is a form of MK Ultra, which is and always will be going on as long as evil rules. I agree with that. Teresa, that's not the point about you not being a zombie or a robot and you're fine. It has to do with radio frequencies and the brain. That's the bottom line. None of this other stuff about being mind controlled. Radio waves close to the head are bad. That's it, period. And none of the other stuff. Yes, it can be, and yes, they can be doing the frequencies, but the Bluetooth devices are radio frequencies next to your head. That's the issue, period. I love you and I don't want you to get tumors, okay? That's it. If you know when you're using them and you're careful with using them, okie dokie. But there are people who do this all day, you know. So, but anyway, I worked with microwave down to base radio. Yeah, there are transmissions all over the sky is being radiated into our heads when we walk down the street because that's the age we live in. Does affect us probably? Yes, it does. But when you put and I go back to the walkie talkies that I have. Okay, and they're not really powerful. They're Midland type walkie talkies. They got a clear line of sight for 20 miles if you're in the desert or something. But 5 or 10 miles in hilly areas, and which is really good because if you're stuck somewhere, and if I'm down in the river and and I get turned over or something, I got something if it's not wet. But it warns you to wear it. Don't put it in your pocket next to your heart. Don't wear it long on it. You must wear it on your waist. If you read what what the walkie-talkie be talk about because of the radio waves going and coming simply around your body, being close to you, wearing it on your hip. They say, do not leave it on your hip all day. Take a break. And but by putting a Bluetooth next to your head is my point. Anyway, I've said my piece, Teresa, and people can make up their own mind about it, but it's not about the mind control. It is about the radio waves messing with your head because they're radio waves. Period. That's all. Jody says, anybody remember what the brick phone and the amount of radio Williams those things used, at least according to what I've heard? Yeah, back in the day, some of those brick phones. Yeah. Um, Radio waves, sound waves, and UV infrared lights on phones, TVs, computers, etc., are programming your brain to be able to link to a computer telepathically. I do think that's a part of that. Part of that is in there, Travis. And I haven't quite figured out what it is, but I think there's so many levels of that. But anyway, so I guess if I worked in radio, and don't go out there and stand by the transmitter, and don't stand in here by the thing, and so the understanding of radio waves in themselves. Qualcomm states it flat out, huh? But anyway, so but I understand. I agree with you. What I don't know myself is to what degree it affects us. I got this new Wi-Fi. Okay, Teresa, we love you. And yeah, there are radio waves all around us. And the thing is, though, when you understand that they are around you, it's not that it should freak you out and you should be worried, but you should also say, I see you, because when you're aware of things, there are natural things that can kind of kick in, like, I'm aware of these things. But anyway, so be safe, Teresa. I've sent you an email back, by the way. And yes, I would like to participate. So send me the information, okay? And sweet dreams. 5G is worse than 4G. The waves are closer together, much closer. Yep. That's why they have to have these towers so close together. And they're all around down here. Now, here's something that was said in one of the cards that I read last night, that our unconscious is recording everything that's around us, whether we're hearing it or actually seeing it. Our unconscious is recording everything, awake, asleep, or not. So you go, well, this isn't bothering me, but unconsciously, because your brain and your unconscious is hearing and recording everything. So we say, no, it ain't bothering us, but we really don't know, honestly. I got this new modem here with the Wi-Fi. It's got better reception, so forth, and all that. But I'm also thinking, what's that doing to my brain? I'm going to have to start shutting this thing off. I need to be more proactive myself. But when I go outside and walk in the woods with Duggar, it can't reach me, So, but I don't unplug it though when I leave the house because I'm so used to it just being on. So I've allowed myself the comfort of the Wi-Fi being on, because if I want to check my email or do something, or whatever, it's on, it's plugged in. And so I'm bitching at y'all, not really, but when I should kind of sort of be looking at my own self and going, well, what about this new modem we got over here? Do we know what it's doing to my brain? No, it's over there, but that's not the point. It's in the house. And if it can reach all the way out there in the yard somewhere, then obviously it must be pretty damn strong. So, I have thought about this, and I'm considering putting a timer on my modem so that, only a certain amount of hours of the day, when I'm conscious or whatever, if I fall asleep, which is way too often, the Wi-Fi is still on and can be frying my brain from 30 feet away when I'm asleep, simply because I didn't turn it off. So, but if I put a physical hours and then it shuts the damn thing off, then it makes me aware of what I'm doing and I have control over the Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still learning myself. I'm not really into conspiracy theories. Well, listen, Travis, I knew about stuff about the Vatican and the Catholic Church for a long time from a member of the Dominican, um, a Dominican nun. And people are still talking about conspiracies when I had firsthand knowledge back in 1970, and stuff is still coming out. But it's conspiracy, right? But when the conspiracy turns out and ends up being truthful, was it conspiracy at all? You see, so Travis, I have had looked into conspiracy because I've been lied to by the Catholic Church and by others and by governments and nations and all this stuff. So we have to look at the conspiracies. Simply because someone calls them a conspiracy, I mean, I would say that Joe Biden as our president, that's a conspiracy to make us believe that he's really competent and that he's really in charge. But it's looking, oh no, that's a fact. Is it? Or is it a conspiracy? I'm just saying. So we all have our own point of view about this stuff, but I have looked at things. There are those conspiracies that are like down a rabbit hole and across the universe, and it's like, but there are some things that are actually based. The Montauk program, the MK Ultra, other types of things. The Catholic Church. I mean, there are folks who were in churches down here in the South, and they talk about it, in past years as to how controlling these churches were, and some of them still are. And you go, but that's mind control, ain't it? Well, that's part of the church. Yeah, but if they make you, if you're a sinner, I mean, that's not mind control. So, but it's conspiracy that these churches are actually doing this. Well, when you go to one of the churches and they're trying to make you believe in something that just doesn't, that there's this entity who's speaking in tongues, and that they need an interpreter, and that this is God talking. I gotta say sorry. I got rid of the business. Let's see. Okay, they are doing it even without your Wi-Fi box. Yeah, but I'm further down here in the country. Okay, I'm not in the city where there are more electrical components. So for me, I get it, Doug. But there aren't any towers, within a 2 mile. The closest tower is 2 miles. I've checked. And nobody else has any kind of high intensity stuff or anything like that around here. Now, if I lived in town, I would get it, but I'm way out here in the country. So my turning off my own Wi-Fi, okay. I know they're still doing it, Doug. I get it. I'm with you. My business this year, I cannot and will not work for anyone else again, but I still need to make money because I'm only 41. Well, that sucks, Doug. Oh, yeah, I know a lot about the cow. I look at them and research them, but I don't blindly follow them. Neither do I, Travis. To the point. My screen froze right as you were about to say timer. Interesting. Doug says they put a tower 1 block away from my house. Now, see, that sucks. I mean, just downright sucks. I can't stand being in a town or a city. Neither can I. I go into town and, I'm there as long as I need to be, and then I'm out of there. But anyway, it's been almost 2 hours, and in the last 2 or 3 days, I've got like about 12 hours worth of online time. And I was like, wow, I could have been doing something else. No, but that's not the point. I love hanging out with you folks and everything. And the discussion tonight about love, and I do have to go back to that. And will love conquer all? And the idea is that in our own minds, regardless of whether or not a person loves me back, I can stay in love for them, to honor them. Not that I want to take them home and sleep with them, but that I honor them in the grand scheme of to love another human being just because. So, but all of these things that we've just been talking about are interrupting our frequencies to stay in that love, I mean, it's bad enough that, that we're getting solar winds and magnetic changes and the, I checked earlier, but not within the last couple hours, but Schumann was just kind of humming along, no spikes, but, so, the whole planet is being affected. I absolutely understand that. But should we wear wireless headphones and like exacerbate an already nasty situation? I know Teresa went to bed, and I'm not picking on her, but there are folks that just won't even consider it. Oh, there's nothing wrong with them. Really? Did you read them? Oh, there's nothing. My friend's been wearing them for years. And yeah, and I knew a guy that, the more he wore he was a real estate agent kind of thing. And he was always on the damn thing, wouldn't take it off. And so for 10, 12 hours a day, he's got this thing on his head. Well, the more we knew him, he just kept getting ditzier. I don't know whether it was the fact that it was the Bluetooth itself, or whether it was because he was always on. You know, people were always calling. He was always, 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 and he was ditzy. I mean, there were times when this man could not complete a sentence without the and this has been 15 years ago. But anyway, so I have watched people who use these devices and just go, man, and then you read about radio waves and it's just like, wow. Just a question in regards to Biden a couple of times now. It seems like he has stuttered and answered questions and they cut off the live feed. What I'm supposed to say, Nancy. Yeah. That's not a conspiracy. Just watch the man. And I had an uncle that had more, and he was 80 years old and he could speak better but anyway. I have a good song tonight, Elastica Connections. I would stay for another 3 hours, but I got to go without but I can't go 4 days without a Hawkeye section. Oh, you're welcome, Doug. And shame on me for not sending it out earlier. But anyway, so my friends, stay safe, be safe. It's 1:53 Eastern Daylight Time. It's not Dave's time. But it's almost 1 o'clock here. So no, I didn't. I'm serious about not setting my clocks ahead or back. But I do want you to know that through all of the clamor, the chaos, and all the cacophony of coughing and craziness that's going on in this world, love may not conquer it, but love is important for all things, especially when there's this increased amount of hate. So understand that whether or not you receive anything back, that's not the point. And stand true in that. Because what it matters in the long run, it doesn't matter to anybody else. But when it's your time to make your passing into the other realms, that's when that being staying in love, you're going to go, man, I sure am glad I stayed here. You know what I mean? Love makes it better, even if it's crazy. Happy to see sunlight after 6 p.m. tonight. It was 7 p.m. by my clock. Okay, just saying. I'm being a horseless patoot. Everybody's like, "Well, it stayed dark later," and I was like, "It was 7 o'clock tonight when before it got dark." But anyway, but it was 8 o'clock here. Okay, it was so nice after 6. I'm making a little bit of fun with you, David Castle, but there were other. Oh, it's so nice to have the sun out. For it to be light after 6 o'clock, and I was like, it was 7 o'clock 2 nights ago, 3 nights, a week ago it was 7 o'clock. But now it's 8 o'clock. Oh, but it's after 6. How they word things just gets me. Joyce, are you serious? Goo to you too. Goo goo. And good night to you now as well. So I continue to pray, and I really do mean this. I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of your relatives and acquaintances will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, and the wisdom and the blessings from the universe, which includes the cosmic love from all of us, by the way. I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive these wonderful healings, knowledge, wisdom, and blessings from the universe. And in that law of 3, which is important to me, I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive and to share the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and those blessings from the universe. And as much as we might not understand everything, and as much as some of these things have been tossed into the conspiracy pile, a lot of things that, were talked about as I've been growing up, still am, the conspiracies, a lot of times it depends on what it is got a whole lot more truth in it. So we can't discount them. We can say though, there's a conspiracy theory about this, and isn't it interesting? Whether or not you believe it will come later on, as if the truth will ever come out. And there are some truths that are coming out right now about some things. It's Heels Up Harris. Is that in reference to the Kamalia? They're planning to replace him with Heels Up Kamala. Yeah, there's some, we have got to say this quite frankly. There's something strange going on, y'all. I mean, there just is. He ain't flying in Air Force One. It's some double other thing. It ain't the one. They're, want to put up permanent, fencing around the DC. And there were people there today that was, Pedo Biden. Yeah. Biden. Anyway, the idiot bastard son by, Frank Zappa. But anyway, and so these things are right in front of us. The conspiracy is we see this happening and the news says, no, he's just fine. That's the conspiracy, to cover up the truth, and that there are those people, I grew up in the Kennedy era, and, as a Catholic, and when he got shot and the school closed down and all this stuff, but anyway. And I remember going through the Warren report and so forth like that, and going through that back then. And, people reflect on it and go back into history. I was watching it on the news every day. We were making book reports on it at the school, But this idea, though, that after all this time, they still have this one bullet that went through Conley, the door, and back around, and, and there ain't a scratch on it. Just saying. So, but they want to say that we are the conspiracy nuts that don't believe the Warren report. There's no way that bullet and what they said is true. It just is what it is. Old ex Blue Eyes, right? Okay. So Project Skyfalls, Doug, Michelle, Isby, David Castle, Doug, if you're still in the house. Yep, you are. Be safe. And that my 2 cents worth is when somebody calls it, when the news calls it a conspiracy theory, then you should look into it, because the media is what controls what they want us to believe. So if they say, well, that's a conspiracy theory, you should check it out. Just saying, because they're the liars. They are the ones that wish to promote whatever it is that they're promoting. You know, uh, for God's sakes, Disney, Dumbo, the elephant, the movie. No, can't watch. Horton Hears a Who. Dr. Seuss is no longer, but the Muppets are no longer. Miss Piggy and you want to say, wait a minute, where's the conspiracy? Is it those of us who are listening to this crap? Or is it the people who are trying to make us believe? Now, they're doing this. That's not the conspiracy. It's the reason they're doing it. There's something, I mean, God bless Aunt Jemima, but come on now. Just saying. Next, they'll be picking on Orville Redenbacher, or the Colonel, because it's fried chicken, and black people like fried chicken. So there must be some kind of, you watch. I'm just saying, these people are nuts. The media are the bad people, right, Ed? Just look at the facts that aren't hidden yet before they're gone. There you go. Aristocrats canceled. Right. I mean, some of the stuff they're doing. I was thinking Hawkeye was ending the vid. I am in a minute. But you know me, I say, well, I'm getting ready to get out of here, said my prayer, and then 20 minutes later, I'm still on. But I really do. I got to go uh, stretch my back, get something to eat, and go to the toilet. Black coffee needs to go. Steve. Okay, my friends. The cancel culture is funny. Mochaccino. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I got a little bit of coffee left, but it's not about the coffee. It is about something to drink, though, and I'm out. And after 2 hours, my throat is dry, and I want to go get something to drink. And I think y'all have had enough of me for tonight. 2 hours for you there. So David Castle and everybody, Delaney, thumbs up. And I want to do a card reading for you. And I was going to do it tonight and then me and my big mouth, but I am too tired now. And but I will do it again. I'll stay and listen to you, Hawkeye. Yeah, but I'm not staying. I do love you all. Keep that in mind. So stay safe. You know, we got another blizzard warning and stuff coming into the picture and tornadoes and stuff. So y'all stay safe, hunker down as you need to. And, you know, as I was saying yesterday, love, light, and love, light, and life, the 3 L words. So if you have love, it can bring a lightness to you, and your energy will be more light. And if you love the universe, nature, even the snakes, you know, you will have life in this life and in the next one, and the next one, and the next one. If you believe in that, but I do, and many others do. So if you think this is the end of the line, forget about it. That's another show I like, is Forget About It. It's hilarious. So my friends, be safe, sleep well. Until next time, cheers, all y'all. And keep it between the ditches. Love you till next time.